welcome to this animation demo of the Laura Game Ready character. So what we're going to do is basically animate her face today and import that animation into Maya and also import it into Unreal Engine. So to follow along, you're going to need to download a few of these files. The first file you're going to need is the native file, the Autodesk Maya file. The second file you're going to need is the Myml Script. You're going to need to download this file and the Unreal Engine file as well. Once you've got those downloaded, you can unzip these files to a folder. I'll show you how to do that. You're also going to need an iPhone, and on this iPhone you're going to need an app called FaceCap. So I'll put links for all of this in the description of the video so you can get these resources if you want to follow along. So once you've got all the files, you're going to unzip these. I just put them on my desktop, so I'm going to extract these two folders on the desktop, and the U project file, I'm going to extract this one. And of course the Myml Script is already extracted. I didn't put that in a zip folder because it's really small. So now that you've got that extracted, if you look inside the folder that you've got Laura rig, you've got a scenes file, source images, and a workspace file. So this is then the root of the Maya project file. So let's go into Maya and let's set our project to that file. So that's on the desktop, and if you open this up, this is the root where you find the workspace file. So let's just set this. Alright, so now I've set my project directory to the Laura character. And the next thing we want to do before we actually start doing anything in here is let's open up her Unreal file. So just once you've unzipped that, you can just double click the U project file and it should launch in your editor. So while that's loading up, the proper workflow for using the rig is to reference in the model instead of importing and using it directly, because referencing uses namespaces, and those namespaces are hard-coded in the script at this stage. So to create a reference to the model file, you can use file create reference, or you can use the keyboard shortcut Control R, which I like to use. So I'm going to hit Control R. Oh, why is it not working? There we go. All right. So you've got the Laura rig, my ASCII file, and we're going to leave everything at default and just say reference. Alright, so that's loading up. It's compiling shaders. You can minimize that while it's loading here. So we'll first do a few normal animations, or we'll do one normal animation and with the body, and then I'll show you another animation on the face. So you can do animations with FK or IK. FK meaning the controls work from the back to the front. So if you move this back control, the front ones follow them, and so forth down the line. Or if you use this little plus sign, you can use the toggle and drag it over to 10, and now you've got IK, which means it works backwards. So if you move this, it just, which is an easier way to animate things. So I'll just undo all that, and we're gonna make it do something. Let's see. There we've got IK on the feet, and we've also got some set keys. So if you've got want to roll her foot or something like that, we've got keys for that. Also, On the hands for the fingers, we've got keys that if you want to cup the hand or you want to spread or curl the fingers, we've got set keys for that. And you can also do them individually. So obviously you can grab just one finger if you want to. And if you don't want to use the set keys, you can always use the FK controls, which essentially work the same way. Alright, so for everything else, we've got controls for the hips, translation, and rotation. And we've got a hip swing, of course, which is only rotation. And so on and so forth. We've got eye controls. So if you move this target, their eyes will follow. Let's just turn on the textures here so that we can see her eyes moving. So whenever Maya's do something, you can just check the bottom bar here. It'll tell you what Maya's doing. Alright, so if you move this target, their eyes will follow the target. So wherever you lock this target, she will look at it. And for her mouth, grab this little control, hit E to rotate, and you've got jaw controls. And also on these facial blend shape controls, you've got a bunch of keys for facial blend shape. So if you want to animate her face manually, you could totally do that, but we're not going to animate manually. We're actually going to make a recording for her face, but we'll do that in a second. First up, we're just gonna make her arms flap like a little bird. So we're gonna set a key in the first frame, and I like to give it a few frames anticipation. So you know what, this is gonna be a looping animation. So let's take it up to like 20 frames, and no, we don't want that. We want her to rotate. Yes, we want this. Alright, up at 20 frames, and go back to the first frame. Let's copy this frame. Up to 40 frames, let's paste this frame here. Right, so now we've basically got her flapping her arms, which is a little weird, but okay. And let's just set this animation range to 40 frames. Alright, let's pop over to Unreal, make sure everything's working. Looks like it. Got her in here. If I hit play, so this is the file that you downloaded. Once you open it up, this is what you're going to get. If you hit play, she'll work right off the bat. I've already retargeted her to the standard stuff that comes with the third-person template. So this is basically just a template with her inserted. Alright, so everything's working here. What we want to do now, go back to Maya. We want to export this now. So you can save your animations. This file, if you think you've got a good animation, you want to keep this for later reference, you can, let's say, flappy arms animation. Let's save this. So I like to save my animations. If anything goes wrong during the import or export process, then at least I know, well, we've got somewhere to start again. So once you have that, you're going to go to File, Game Exporter. You do not need to export the model because it's already been exported and imported into Unreal, but you can totally do that if you wanted to. You're just going to set a path for it and enter a file name similar to what we're going to do for exporting the animation. And you want to make sure you export the skinning, blend shapes, and smoothing groups. And you do not want to export all. You want to export this Unreal export set. I don't know why it's not selecting it. Yeah, this is the one. You want to select export object set, and you want to select model Unreal export set. So we're going to do that in the animation as well, object set, and we're going to go to Unreal object set. And we're actually not going to export the model now because we already did that. And all we want to do is hit this little plus sign, and you're going to get a box that prompts you to enter the name of the clip. So this is flappy arms, and a path where you want to export this animation. So I'm going to put this on my desktop. I'm going to create a new folder for this. and we're going to call this Laura Anims, just so it's easy to find. You choose, and it's going to update that path. I'm going to add anim underscore as a prefix for this, so I know what kind of a file this is. And once you have that, you can hit export. And it's only going to take a second to bake everything down. There you go, export successful. And if we head over to Unreal, in the Laura file, I'm going to use inside the anim file, I'm going to hit import. And then I'm going to go to where we save that file on the desktop, Laura Anims, and we're going to import this to the Laura skeleton. We do not need the mesh for this. The mesh, we do need the skeletal mesh, we do not need the mesh. Oh, why is it doing this? Let's see, animation. Well, I think that's all we need. Let's import it and see what it does. Oh, that's all we need. So, if you open this up, you can see we've got the flappy arms animation that we just made in Maya. And if you choose this character, you can go down to use animation asset. Just click on this, hit this little arrow here. Now if you hit play, now you can see her using that animation that we just made. So that's for the body. If you want to make body animations, and of course you can get really creative with the various controls that we have available in Maya. Okay, so that's for the body. For the next part, we're going to animate her face. And for that, we are actually going to jump over to the iPhone and use an app to do this. So we're going to head on over to the phone, we're going to make the recording, and then we're going to come right back and we're going to import that into Maya. Okay, so on your iPhone, you're going to need to install the FaceCap app. You can do that by going to the App Store and just searching for FaceCap. They've got a free demo that you can use to try out the software and see if it works for you. But it is a paid software to use all the features. You're going to need to buy it. So once you've got that installed, we're going to open it up and it's going to present you with this lovely little gray dude. And before you start recording, it's best to go into config and just hit the little automatic button down here and it will configure the head to your head. So I've already done this, I'm not going to do it again. And once you've got that set up, you're just going to hit record. And it's going to ask me to disregard if you've had something recorded previously. It still has that in memory, so it's going to disregard it. Let's say okay. And this is a demo recording to illustrate the facial animation features with some of my rigs. And you can record facial animations, whatever you see on the screen here is what you're going to see on the model. So we can do some really crazy facial expressions and we'll import that into Maya. Okay, so once you're done, you can hit the stop button. And now to get this animation exported, you're going to hit export down here and give it a name. So let's say demo export, whatever. I just add this at the end. It already gives it a pretty unique name, but this is just for me to identify it easier when it's in a hierarchy of files. Alright, so once you've got that, it's going to say export completed. These files now live in your Files app. You're going to go to the FaceCap folder, and you'll find with each recording you have one FBX file along with one audio file. So you're going to plug this into your computer with iTunes installed, and we'll transfer this over and import it into Maya. Alright, so back on the computer now, we're going to open the iTunes app, and we already have our phone plugged in and we have it unlocked so that we can access the data on it. And you're going to click this little phone icon. It's going to open up your phone. You're going to go down to file sharing, the FaceCap app, and the one that we recorded for this is demo export. So we're going to, you select these two using the control key and just hit save. And we're also going to put this on a desktop. Let's create a new folder for this. New folder. And let's say this is the FaceCap stuff. So then just select that folder and iTunes will export it to that folder. So now that you have that, let's open up that folder. You've got two files here. You've got a sound file, WAV file, and you've got an FBX file. The one we want right now is the FBX file. So open up Maya, and we still got our stuff going on here. You can start from scratch, but I'm just going to continue on this animation. But you can totally start from scratch if you want to do like animation with facial expressions with it. I totally recommend that you do it from scratch because you could set that on a different layer. But it doesn't really matter because the controls, the animation keys are actually not on this character when we hook it up. It's actually on the recording. So let's just get down to it. So now that you have this open, you could do this two ways. You could go to File, Import, and browse to the file location, but we're gonna do this the quick way and just grab the FBX file, draw it in the viewport, and it's gonna import that file for us. So now that we have that, if you hit play now, you see it adjusted our keyframe range for us. So if you hit play now, you see that the animation we recorded is now imported into Maya as this object. And you actually don't need to worry about doing anything to this. You can just leave it as it is after you've dragged and dropped it in here. And with the window still like this, you can just go back to the Myml file. You need this Myml file now. And just drag and drop the Myml file in. And now you see the head disappears. It's just gone. But the animation has been applied to Laura's head now. So if we go back all the way to the beginning, you'll see her, you should see her flapping her arms. Yes, and speaking at the same time. So in fact, let's go to frame 60. Let's add some more. Let's add some more animation to this. We'll select that one as well. Let's see. Yeah, that's good. So let's go to a few frames up. Make it do this. Select that. No, we don't want to cut it. We want to copy it. Go up a few frames, paste it. Oh God, this doesn't work with multiple selections, so you need to select them one by one. You know, we're going to leave them like this, so it's very obvious that the animation worked. So you got this now, you've got the animation, we've hooked it up, and now we want to export this to Unreal. And we're going to do this the same way. You go to Game Exporter, exactly like we did before. And now we're just going to say Flappy Arms Talking. And we don't want it to be 40. You know what, in fact, let's just nuke it and let's make a new one so it inserts the whole range that you have in your time bar. So let's name this now Flappy Arms Talking. And it's going to be same location, everything else we're going to leave the same. We're going to say export. And it's going to bake that animation down for us. Export it as an FBX. And then we're going to import that into Unreal. And this is going to be a little bit different. It gets a little wonky, but it's not a big deal. It's easy to work with, as long as you know what you're doing. So, okay, so we've got that exported. There we go. And as I said before, the great thing is the animation is not actually on these keys. The animation is actually on the model that we imported. So if you break these connections, if you go and you break this connection, you break the connections, you could animate these totally separately and it won't be included in the animation. But okay, so now that we've exported that, let's go over to Unreal. And we're going to say in the same folder, we can keep that one. Let's go to Import, Flappy Arms Talking, Open. And for this one, we do want the mesh. And we're going to select this, the FBX skeleton for Laura, so that it targets that automatically. And you're going to say import. And it's going to take a few seconds to gather all its files and read the whole thing, import it. So once that's imported, so yeah, because we said because we chose the mesh and not just the skeleton, it's going to import everything assisted, and don't worry about any warnings it gives you. So as you can see, it imported all the materials and everything else that we don't really need. We just need the animation. So let's grab all these materials and just nuke them. So it's going to complain, don't worry about that. Just say force delete. And once we've deleted these materials, now you can see the animation stays shaded, but the physics asset and the skeletal mesh that it imported doesn't. So you can delete these two. And again, it's going to complain, but you can hit force delete. Don't worry about it complaining about this. Now we're left with this, just the animation. You can open that up. You can see she's talking, she's moving her arms. And if you hit select the character, we can input this into her animation slot. And if you look around, you can see she's talking, she's moving her arms like we animated her in Maya. And this, of course, is mapped to the Unreal skeleton, so you could choose any other Unreal asset. Obviously, we don't make a blueprint for this now, so if you go back to the blueprint, she can still run. So you can combine your animations that you make in Maya, making your characters talk, and you can combine them with like the Unreal animations and make your characters talk in the game. And that's basically it for this animation demo, showing you how to make her talk within Unreal Engine. So just one more time, animation asset, and just let's open it up so you can see it up close. So there we go. Always too fast. So there we go. You can see our animations that we made. Spacebar to play that. See her talking. See her moving her arms. And that's basically it. So I hope this helps you animate characters faster. And I hope you have fun working with the LoRa rig. Thanks for watching.